Good evening, everyone. This festival is my favorite week of the year, and anytime I step into this building, it feels like a dream come true. So thank you for sharing this with me. I saw this film a couple weeks ago, and I have to say I've not stopped thinking about it. It got into my soul. I'm so excited for what you are about to experience. So without further ado, please welcome co-writer, director, and producer Mona Fastvold. Producer Andrew Morrison. And actor Lewis Pullman. Welcome to all of you, and congratulations on the miracle of making a film. Anytime I see a film these days, I think these are minor miracles that they exist, and it's a feature film on the big screen. It just feels like such a gift. So thank you so much. This is not easy work, so we see that, so thank you. So Mona, we got a little taste of who Ann Lee was, and I'm curious, someone like you, coming off The Brutalist, which was probably a difficult movie to make, as we can maybe surmise, what struck you about Ann Lee as a protagonist, and what motivated you to want to share her story? It feels like a niche story, but in essence, it is not a niche story. It's very amplifying about the role of women in spirituality. So tell me about that.
Well, I think that, well, first of all, thank you all for being here and for that lovely introduction. That was really sweet. But no, I think that the first thing that really struck me about Ann Lee's story is perhaps something that also resonates a bit with the story of Laszlo Toth. It's about, in The Brutalist, I think I am drawn to people who attempt impossible things. And I think that what Ann Lee, her idea of female leadership, maternal leadership, this idea of utopia, is this impossible thing that really spoke to me as an artist as well. Like, why do we try and make these things? As you said, this was very hard to make. The previous one was very hard to make. The ones before that were even harder.
They're going to continue to be difficult, I have a feeling.
They probably will, just because, you know, the Shaker musical wasn't exactly like a sexy pitch. So
I'd love to see your deck, your pitch deck, selling this to people, because it must have been quite stunning.
That was pretty, but you know, it still was hard, you know.
Well, thank you so much. And again, we can't spoil too much, but I think that sets the stage for why we are here tonight. And Amanda is not here. We wish she were, but I do want to acknowledge this is the work of her career. I mean, this is truly the performance of a lifetime, and it's just, I can't say enough about her work. So congratulations to Amanda. And Andrew, you were also part of the Brutalist team. Congratulations to you on all your accolades that you deservedly earned last year. And I thought about these two movies today. In some ways, they're related. They feature people who are seeking freedom and who've sort of been cast away from Europe. And I'm curious, what did you learn making The Brutalist that you were able to apply here? And what couldn't be applied here? How did this feel like a wholesale reinvention of producing?
I think a lot of what we learned on The Brutalist, we then pushed even further here. So they were both very hard movies. This is an entirely independently made movie. It's a $10 million movie that we, had to figure out how to get made like $250,000 at a time. So it was like an incredible.
So how did you do that? Because I know a lot of people in the room are like, how do you fund a movie? So we would welcome any insight you had.
Well, it's a lot. We made a teaser for this movie. So we shot in Massachusetts, like a pre-shoot for 2 days. We choreographed a piece. Celia did a piece for it. Daniel did a song for it. Amanda came and, we got caught in the snow and our trucks broke down and all those fun things. But at the end of it, we had, a couple minutes to show like what this film would be, and those minutes ended up in the movie. And then we showed that to everyone to say, hey, look, this is what the total art will be. And we gave them a script, and almost everyone passed. And and then we.
So essentially, a proof of concept that you were able to send people for look and feel and tone.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think, but you have to do it as something that you truly is part of the movie. I think it's important. Like we shot on 35 millimeter. We really.
We just started making we just started making the movie, and then tried to find people who wanted to make it with us, and then. And also, it's an ambitious, bold, visionary idea and film. thanks to Mona. And so it's easier to sell that. It's like, like we could, we're trying to make radical and possible cinema in an era where that's becoming harder and harder and harder. So for the right people, that's an exciting pitch, because you get to be part of something that,
It's only the true believers are on board with this.
Yes.
And tell me about the research aspect of assembling the story, both from the writing side, but also just making sure that everything was accurate while allowing yourselves some artistic license. But this is a very unique period of time in the world. Unique clothes, unique production design, the furniture, et cetera. How were you researching this, and then you sort of being able to weave this into the script? So maybe either one of you.
Well, I mean, it's such a joy to do this kind of research for me. Like, I just love it. It's so great. So I spent years just diving into this part of history. And obviously, I think most people are familiar with their incredible design. The boxes and the chairs and the peg rails, and even that this is sort of like the cornerstone of American design. Really is shaker furniture, shaker design. So that was really available. But the rest of Ann Lee's story, certain parts of her life, there's only a sentence or just a few little bits and pieces that are available. And then you have to fill in the blanks by, studying Manchester at the time and how people lived and how, and sort of drawing from that. But then after you do all that research, you also have to kind of let it go as you write and just say, now I'm telling the story, now this is my story. I wanted to end fully in what we know as the shaker aesthetics, which is not really, that came a little bit later, so that's took some creative liberties there. And then other little bits and pieces where it's also just, this is now me telling a story from my perspective. So, yeah.
So you allowed room for your own art to creep in.
Yes, and I brought in, we brought in all these hymns, and we made a wild, radical, original score that is not, the hymns. And so there's, and the choreography is an interpretation of what it could be, and based on sort of drawings and images in the end of what it potentially was. But it's still, no one knew, so you have to, yeah.
I also think that taking that research and making it into the film, right? So like our designer, Sam Bader, did such an amazing job, and we had to, on the Brutalist end this, it was a challenge of how do we make a movie about design where we have very little money, right? We can't build a shaker village. We don't have the money to make all this furniture. And so building a way of, making a period film, making a design-heavy film on this budget was also like a huge part of, bringing it to life.
Wow, so incredible. And Lewis, congratulations to you. You look like you were having a blast on screen, and you'll see this is an actor who really had a good time making this film. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the music and the choreography, again, without spoiling too much about the movements that people are about to see, but tell me how that informed your preparation, and did you have time to rehearse these elements, which are woven in, again, in a very unique way? It's not a traditional musical format.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, I think it's so fun listening to them talk about it, because
you looked very rapt as they were talking.
It's so
You're
fun
like,
to
I was like, you're in this movie. You know you were just in this movie.
But there's so many parts of the process that kind of were and still remain a mystery to me, and that was such a beautiful aspect of it, because, like, Mona did such extensive research, but then there are these gaps that are unfillable, and they have to be filled with somebody who is steeping themselves with their own imagination and who is so in love with the world that they can color in, with beautiful strokes. And so to kind of like be a part of that was like, you just have to give yourself over to it. And it was such a freeing experience. And yeah, I did have a dang good time, okay?
It's okay, share your joy. It's fun. We're living it with you.
It was hard too, though.
It was quite hard, yeah.
You worked hard.
It was quite hard, but that's what it's all about. I mean, I think these types of movies, it's like an anti-movie in so many ways, which is like, there's so many meta parts about this. Mona is in so many ways like, and Andrew and the whole team were like these punk rock, like guerrilla warfare filmmakers, and watching that, like, making a singular vision at all costs is like such an incredible thing to be a part of and to watch.
And as we wrap and people get to enjoy a film in a few moments, there are probably many people in this room who have a project that they're working on. They've heard no a lot. Maybe that's all they've heard. What is some advice that you would give people, first of all, to keep them motivated and to maybe change their strategy so they start to hear some yeses? Are there things that worked for you in how you sold this movie as a vision to financiers? Anything that helped you that you maybe want to pass along? Mona, you can start.
Don't change your vision. Don't change anything. Just keep at, just really the thing that you wanted to make is the thing that you must make. There's no right thing. There's no right story to be told. There's no, like, this is right for now. All that is absolute nonsense. You just have to, what is it that it's exciting, interesting, driving you enough that you want to dedicate potentially, a decade or decades of your life to it. And then you don't give up. If you don't stop making the movie will eventually get made. But, and I also want to say that don't be scared of shooting on film. Don't be scared on an ambitious format. I think it's so easy for young people to be kind of say, oh no, you can't. Those formats, they're not for you. It's not that much more expensive. 16 millimeter is a beautiful format. Kodak is really supportive of young filmmakers. Like really, we're telling stories with images, so let those images be rich and exciting, and that is possible to do on a small budget.
Andrew?
Everything she just said. I also think so much of putting these movies together is thinking through them to break them down into pieces that you understand. So it's like, okay, we knew we couldn't shoot in Massachusetts for the full length of what we thought we could do, but we knew we could do small pieces there. We knew that we could, it's like, okay, the cost of building in this part of the world is too high, but we know we can build somewhere. So let's go find the right place to do that. Or, not to ruin it, but there's a relatively large part of this film that it took us months to find the one place on earth we could do that for a price that was. So a lot of it is like a puzzle where you break down every little piece of it and then figure out how you can go about doing that. And then you look back and you go, okay, well, we're in Sweden and Hungary and Massachusetts. On the BRUTALIST, we were in Italy and Hungary and New York. And so you think about it that way, and then you go about building each piece you can, and you hope it,
So therefore, directors, know your budget, know the price of every line item in your budget. That is a creative decision.
Yeah, like we would talk about
yes.
We can have one more sheep or one fewer sheep,
Yes, know that. Be like, I'm actually sheeps were cheaper than humans, for example. And I said, I have to cut 20 extras, but I can have 50 sheep,
right.
for example. And it's
if
more
you have
beautiful.
A lot of sheep, then it looks beautiful and big.
It looks beautiful.
Because no one knows how you got their sheep,
No, they're like, how the heck did she get this massive flock of sheep? It's great. So things like that. And I would have never known that if I didn't really, really know and understand my budget and my schedule.
Wow. I think we could sit here all day, but we have to let these kind people watch the film. Thank you so much. But before we go, I do want to toss to a very special message that we have queued up for you. So please enjoy, and again, make movies, follow your dreams. Please don't give up. Have a good one.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for being there tonight. I'm sorry I can't be. I'm about to head to the airport to get on a plane for somewhere far from LA to talk about Ann Lee. But you are in very good hands with our fiercely brave and one-of-a-kind directors, our director Mona Fastvold, who is someone I'd follow anywhere. And she definitely changed my life in a lot of ways because of this movie. And I hope the journey you're about to go on is as cathartic and ecstatic and spiritually impactful. There's so many words that I can use that maybe just don't even do it justice, the experience that I had working on this movie. And I really just hope that you have a great time. Don't be afraid to laugh. It's absurd at moments, and that's what makes it so special. Mona, she's definitely a force, and we're all lucky that she is making art.